So about 2 days ago, I told you guys that if AMD could stay above 214, then you guys should look for a 10% run back to 239. Take a listen. Now to the upside, as long as AMD can stay above this zone, which includes the prices between 218 and 210, then I want you guys to look for a 10% run to 239. So looking at the current chart, you guys can see that my analysis was 100% accurate. Now, if you're currently wondering why AMD stock is up over 7% today, well, it's because Oracle has agreed to buy over 50,000 GPUs from the company. And following that news, HSBC has now set a new price target for the stock at $310. Wolf also upgraded AMD stock to a buy and has a price target of $300 per share. Now, last week I told you guys that if NVIDIA could stay above support at 183, then look for a run to 191. And if the stock could get above 191, then look for a run to 195. Take a listen. Now to the upside, if NVIDIA can stay above 183, then I want you guys to look for a 2% run to 191. And if buyers can push the stock above 191, then look for a run to 195. So as we're looking at the current chart, you guys can see that I am predicting daily and weekly moves with extreme precision. With that said, if you do find my analysis helpful, go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment, and also go ahead and share with friends and families. Now let's take a look at the S&P 500. So currently the ETF is holding above support at 652. As you guys can see, we had a bounce here, and two bounces here. With that said, the SPY, however, is rejecting off of resistance at 667. And with that rejection, the S&P 500 looks like it's forming a head and shoulders pattern, which if it breaks below 652, that could set up a move down to 631. Now on the NASDAQ QQQs, I am also seeing the same pattern, which if the NASDAQ does break below 590, this could set up a move down to 567. And from current price, we would be looking at a pullback of over 5%. Now the argument of whether we are in a bubble or not continues. Let's go ahead and listen to what analyst has to say.
So here's the big question. I imagine the word bubble is going to be raised at this conference multiple times if it hasn't already last night. Are we in one? If we are, where are we?
You mean AI or
AI, some kind of economic bubble, market bubble? I don't know what you think it is. And I will say, you mentioned Paul Tudor Jones. He was on our air about a week and a half ago now, and he said he thought we were in some kind of bubble, and he put us on a comparable basis. He thought of October of 1999, which was an interesting moment because the market still had 40% to go.
Right. That's right. Well, first, you rarely have a bubble when the hottest book in New York is about a stock market crash, and everybody who comes on the show talks about a bubble.
There's a bubble in bubbles.
Howard Marks said, it's too early because everybody's talking about a bubble. If you look at multiples as an example, you called out Bernstein yesterday, I thought was great. He was talking about 50 times trailing PE for NVIDIA. It's 25 to 30 times on a forward PE. That's not the stuff that bubbles are generally made of. But certainly the further and further you go out on the risk curve, Andrew, you will find things that make you scratch your head. You say, I wouldn't have done that deal. And there are going to be meme stocks that certainly, have no revenue, Becky, and, in the quantum space or whatever, where you say that valuation doesn't make any sense. But we have this all the time. The bigger question is this. Is the phase shift associated with AI? Is the transformation of all computing with now computer-assisted intelligence, is it as big as the internet? And I would argue that it's as big as the internet. If you spend all your time hand-wringing, like many people did in 2001 and 2002 about the internet, saying, I told you so, they missed the next 20 years of compounding in Amazon, in Google, and all these big winners.
By the way, I would agree with you in that I think AI is going to change the world. It's a generational shift for all of us. The question is, could there be a hiccup along the way? And what does that hiccup look like in terms?
Now, going into the rest of the video, I have some important levels for you guys to watch on ticker symbol AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, and Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. Let's begin with AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. So currently AMD stock is running into resistance at 239. If buyers cannot push the stock above 239, then I want you guys to look for a 7% pullback down to 214. And if the stock cannot hold within this zone between 218 and 210, then I want you guys to look for a pullback down to $200. And if that level breaks, then we're looking at a further pullback down to 184. From current price, we're looking at a decline of 20%. Now to the upside, if AMD can break above 239, then I want you guys to look for a 6% run to 248. And if buyers can push a stock above 248, then look for a run to 258. And from current price, we're looking at a return of over 11%. Next, we have Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. So currently Apple is running into resistance at 249. And along with that, the stock is also forming a bearish rising wedge pattern, which could be signaling more downside for the stock. Now, if Apple cannot get back and stay above this yellow line at 249.39, then I want you guys to look for a 2% pullback down to 243. And if 243 failed to hold that support, then look for a pullback down to 239. Below 239, the bear's next target is going to be at 235. And from current price, we're looking at a decline of over 5%. Alright guys, if you liked today's video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up and let's get this video out to more viewers. Also, if you're currently watching and you're not yet subscribed, do consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.